Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back in one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? I have a nice large sedan that's going to shock you. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 Genesis G80, but guess what? This is a G80 Electrified. But before we get into this sleek, stylish sedan from Genesis, let's talk about what's going on here. The G80 is really the sedan that started it all for the brand, because if you go back to around 2008, that's when there was the Genesis of Hyundai. So it was the Hyundai Genesis sedan. You had the Hyundai Genesis Coupe, you had the Hyundai Genesis sedan. That one sedan morphed into a separate premium brand. So in 2015, Hyundai decided to take a page from Acura, take a page from Infiniti, and take a page from Lexus and come out with their own premium brand. Started with one sedan, now you have a bunch of sedans and SUVs, plus you have some that are electrified and some that are not. Now, with the G80, it's very fascinating what they've done. Instead of creating a totally separate electric sedan, they decided to take this very popular platform and add electrification to it. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a premium top-level luxury sedan, do you go Genesis G80 Electrified, or do you maybe go BMW i4? Let's go ahead, let's dive in our G80 and find out. Right off the bat, the style. I don't think anybody is doing style as sleek and very Art Deco as Genesis. At the front of the business, unmistakable headlight design. You're gonna have full LED headlights. We have our LED daytime running lamps, which are illuminated. These are also the turn signals. And I really like the way they do the split housing setup. Working your way down, we do have functional air curtains, because remember, we gotta cheat the air with this larger sedan. Because this is a top prestige trim, you do have some shiny chrome bits. Nothing too crazy, but there is some sprinkling of them here and there. And then as we come across that home plate, it's like at Wrigley Field, home plate size grille, I think they did it smart. Forward facing camera, love the way it's got the nice textured design. Then I'm gonna move out of the way and have Steven show you, look at this. This is where your charging door is. How smart is that to have it right up front so it doesn't matter when you pull into a spot to charge. So nice the way it all blends in, super clean. You have that traditional grill setup. Everything comes to a point. You see the points, all the points, nice little touches, a little bit of shiny chrome around the perimeter, that gunmetal gray, and then you have the body color on the bottom portion. Now this portion of the grill is functional because of course we have a lithium ion battery that's liquid cooled. So we do need to get some air to those certain bits, but everything else, like I said, has been cleaned up for aero. Now, as we rise up, look at the way the hood fits so paper thin perfect against the top portion of that trim. You got the Genesis badge, looking good. It's been there since 2015, not a long time. We're talking about 8 years, and this brand has really put a stranglehold on a lot of the German Euro brands like BMW, like Mercedes, and like Audi. I like the way they put a nice dip. And if you notice, you see the attention to detail? The peaks of the wingtips are what flows into the hood. That's the style that I'm talking about, that a lot of other brands don't seem to be doing. Now, as we come around the bend, with this setup, it's gonna surprise you. Don't expect to see 21-inch wheels, 22-inch wheels. What we have is a very nice, tasteful wheel design. This is a 19-inch wheel, machined aluminum, that multi-spoke design with the gunmetal gray. You'll notice we have 6 piston calipers, and you do have regen braking, different levels, and you can do one pedal operation. Now, the reason why it's a 19-inch wheel is because you get better range. The larger the diameter of the wheel, range goes down. So it's a little bit of a balance of having something stylish and luxurious, but we also want to help with that range because, like I said, you have a motor up front, a motor out back to give us that all-wheel drive performance. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tires? You're looking at 245 in the width, 45 series sidewall, and we do have those Michelin Primacy Tour EV spec tires to cut down on rolling resistance. Now, as we continue down the side, like I said, the Art Deco style is so apparent. I love the way they did the trim, the side marker lights, which actually flash orange when you have your turn signal on. We are gonna have power folding mirrors with that beautiful emerald green finish on there. I'm sure a leprechaun is gonna jump out of the bushes behind us anytime soon. You do have 360-degree cameras, and you do have shiny bright metalwork top and bottom. Now, one thing that you're probably gonna zonk, or you're gonna think that I should zonk, is up top. Up top, there is no sunroof. Now, if you're wondering why, Joe, is to cut down on the weight. That's one of the reasons primarily why there's no sunroof on this vehicle. Now, working towards the rear, you'll notice the nice large rear passenger doors. We have the sunscreens up, which are nice. Nice solid feel. And then as you work your way towards the rear, I'm gonna have Steven kind of work his way around and show you, I like the way they flare out the trim. Very tasteful. And then really that fender. Look at how it's multi-step and it's flared out and how it flows into our double stacked taillights. So you have full LED reverse lamps, turn signals, the whole shabam. And then coming to the back, air comes off the rear glass, hits this little kick up to give us some nice aero. You see this little guy right here? That's actually your button to open up the trunk. I like the way they hide it. You got the Genesis name, the G80 name, and then working our way all the way down. The only way to tell that this is an electrified G80 is that there's no exhaust. Kind of makes sense. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what the heck is under it in this G80. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Very interesting, because if you did a quick glance, you would think an actual engine is underneath the hood. It's not. It's one of the two electric motors. You still get that nice bracing that they put, tying in the strut top mount to the front of the vehicle. You do get a cover, a motor cover, which is cool. And obviously EV stands for electric vehicle. But what the heck is powering this big sedan? You have two electric motors combined producing 365 horsepower, but here's the kicker, 516 pound-feet of torque. Direct drive transmission, an 87.2 kilowatt battery pack, 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds, quarter mile in 12.7 seconds at 107 miles per hour. Top speed is 150 miles per hour. That's pretty darn good considering this vehicle weighs 5,471 pounds, range 290 miles on a charge. That equates to 110 mpges in the city, 90 on the highway. And if you're wondering, Joe, what about charging time? On a DC fast charger, you could go from 10% battery life to 80% battery life in 22 minutes. If you have a level 2 charger at home, it's gonna take 7 hours. So my advice, go for the DC fast charger. But obviously, if you're using this to get back and forth to work, it really is no big deal just to charge it at home, whether you have a level 2 or even a 120, a level 1. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn this on, because it is an electric vehicle, and see it move. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Genesis G80 Electrified. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this sedan seems to do it for me. I've always liked the Genesis brand. I kind of wanted to move into an electric vehicle. I guess the big question is, how much is it? Very good question. MSRP is right around $80,000. Let's see what you get for the money when you go Genesis to the door panels. I love the artistic style. Look at that nice wood style finish. Love the off green with the cream color and the aluminum finish on the speaker grills. The Lexicon premium sound system looks high rate. You even get a large door pocket for easily 2-foot-long subs from Subway, meatball with extra parm on it. Going from the door panel to the dash, the stitching, I like, at first I didn't like the green on the interior. It's working for me. It's definitely different. This wood style finish, very classy. And then the two-tone, come on in, you got a ginormous, over 14-inch infotainment system, full touchscreen capability, which is really nice. You hit the little home button, that takes us home. You got all the different apps. There is a cornucopia of apps in here. You can go into your seat settings, adjust everything right from the menus, or you could use other ways to navigate. And you'll also notice you have your full EV screen here. Let you know how much charge you have, that whole setup. Very easy to use. I do like that about this system. I'm gonna throw it into reverse here. Backup camera super clear. You got your 360 scan, and I like the way they use a green G80. Right back to park. And that's where we started. Working our way down, you got your on-off button, EV on-off. You got your dual climate controls. Love the way they got the technology, nice TFT screens here. And it's nice that you don't have to slide your finger, you just hit. And it's really not too bad when you're driving. Heated steering wheel, 2 stages, heated seats, and ventilated seats, 3 stages apiece. Working your way down, more of that wood finish. Open sesame, what do we got? Wireless charging, 2 USB-As. Boop. Open this guy up, we got our 2 cup holders. This is a direct drive control knob. If you don't want to touch the screen, if you have a phobia of touching screens, you could use this guy. This beautiful thing is for the direct drive transmission. It's like a nice crystallized, something that my grandmother would have in a hutch or some type of little cabinet. Soft touch material, look at this, the leather, Napa leather, the stitching. You ready? Bombs away! You have a nice felt line cup. This is where you're gonna keep the family jewels, so you don't have to scratch your family jewels. You can keep them in here. And then you have a 12 volt and enough room, I would say, for if you're going to the movies and you're saving money to buy one of these electrifieds, you can put, I would say, 4 boxes of Good and Plenty and 2 boxes of snow caps in there. And then you just have to sneak them into the movie theater and you don't have to pay $20 for a box of Good and Plenty. That's how people afford these types of cars. You ever wondered? People that pay for these expensive cars drink Folgers. They don't go to Starbucks 3 times a day and get a Frappa Lapa Crappa. That's how you do it. Seats, the Napa leather, the piping, the perforation. Love all the adjustments. 20 different ways from Sunday, full electric adjustment. Plus, I love the fact that I have the chauffeur setup, so I could actually move the seat so easily right from the driver's side, or if you're sitting in the back. The one zonk is no sunroof. So no sunroof, like I told you outside, but I do like the Alcantara, soft as your girlfriend's pussycat. Really, really soft. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Genesis. All right, guys, business time. You got 2 memory seat settings. I like the simple Genesis aluminum sill plate. I just wish it lit up like the competition does. But you got all of these seat controls, especially the power hamstring extension. Look at that. Oh, and we have massage seats. Heck yeah, I want a whole body. You could get pelvis. That sounds interesting. You get a pelvis massage. I don't even know if that's legal. You could get waist or you could get full body. I think I'm gonna go full body so I don't get myself in trouble. 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. Steering wheel. You know, at first I was like, I'm digging it. It looks very contemporary. It definitely looks different. The green leather, the white stitching. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel, but that's for your regen braking, and you do have 1 pedal operation, power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then check out our digital display. Nice and large. When you go through the different modes, it changes up. It's almost like a freaking robot, man. It's like RoboCop, the digital gauge display. And then, of course, you got those amazing, let's see if I can do it with my hand here. Look at that. You got the corner cameras. I love that. And in the center, it shows the all-wheel drive, and you can switch through different information even in the center, which is great. Look at that. Love the way they have that set up. Easy to use, easy to understand, looks good, and you got a HUD. What's a HUD? Head-up display. Nice, clear. Look where you want to go. That's the #1 rule that they teach in racing school. Look where you want to go. Right now I'm getting a massage. I felt like somebody's grabbing my rear end. Why don't we go ahead though? Let's get in the back seat and see how much room there is for passengers in your G80 Electrified. All right, guys, back seat time, and this is where you're going to maximize your space. I know a lot of people always get into smaller sedans and they're like, why is there not more room? That's why, because you have to go up to this mid-size, almost full size. Remember, there is the G90. If you need bigger or you want bigger because you're all about bigger's better, guess what? You could go G90. Let's talk about what's going on here. The Napa leather, nice and soft. Large pockets. You could keep a issue of Forbes magazine, maybe Popular Mechanics, Popular Science. I remember when I was a kid and I used to read my dad's old issues of Popular Science back from the 1960s. They thought by the 1990s we'd be in flying cars. Boy, were they wrong, and for a very good reason. Back of the command center here, you do have your AC controls, like the not dual climate, standard climate, but very easy to use, and you got nice digital displays. I can move the front seat, especially if like your bigger brother or bigger sister sitting up there, you could squish them up against the dash, make them pay for all the pain that they inflicted on you over the years. I am the oldest in my family, so I know about inflicting the pain. But none of my brothers and sisters had this power seat ability in my mom's 9-passenger station wagon. Of course, you got the manual security shades, and then you pull this bad boy down. Woo! Boom. So what you're gonna find here is your 2 cup holders, which are real nice. I have a power button right here for our shade. That's pretty cool. You hit that and our power shade goes up. Open this, look at this. We got plenty of room for a family-sized bag of Skittles, USB-A's, and a place to put some Slim Jims. The one thing that's bothering me, WTF, WTH, SOS. What's going on? There's no heated or ventilated seats back here. The button should be right here, but they're not. And they're not on the door panel either. So that's crazy for 80 G's. But I do like the seats, the piping, the leather. Let's go ahead, let's get into the trunk and see what we can fit in this G80. All right, guys, trunk time. Now, you might be saying to me or to yourself, well, Joe, where's the compromise? Because I'm not seeing a lot of compromise besides not having a sunroof on the interior. Here's where you're gonna see a little bit of compromise. So we're gonna hit our hidden button, hit that, nice electric assist. Because of the rear motor, you're losing some trunk space. So you do get a nice pass through, but underneath there is gonna be your electric motor. How much space do we have? 11 cubic feet of space. All your charging accessories are underneath the cargo lid here. And then they give you nice cargo nets so that you can put your goodies back here, especially your box of charged up Ecto Green Twinkies back here. That's the official Twinkie of the Ghostbusters. And you have one Twinkie area on both sides, which are nice. And then you could put your melons here. I know Steven likes big melons. You can put your melons underneath the cargo net so that they don't roll around or slide around. But it's about that time. You thought I was gonna close my hand. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get charged up and go on throttle in this G80. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Genesis G80 Electrified. I'm gonna just go big right away. We're gonna go out on the highway and I'm gonna shut up. I know that's hard to believe, but I'm gonna shut up for a few seconds and let you just hear what's going on. So as you can see, they did a great job taking a chassis that was developed for an internal combustion engine and converting it to an electrified platform. The reason why that's so challenging is because manufacturers don't have to worry as much about NVH, noise, vibration, harshness, because a lot of times the internal combustion engine helps cancel some of that vibration out from getting in the cabin. With this being electrified, they really had to do their homework on thickness of glass, acoustic windshield. All of the rigidity and sound deadening materials really had to be amplified to cut down on that noise. And I'm telling you right now, they did a great job. This vehicle almost drives just like its internal combustion engine cousin. And what I mean by that is it feels like a normal Genesis G80 sedan. Of course, when it comes to handling, the battery pack very low in the chassis. That's going to help with lowering the center of gravity. And then with the instant torque, over 500 pound-feet of torque, You get on the throttle, she just goes. And it kicks you right back into the seat. Now, the reason why I have the camera located this way is because looking out the windshield isn't going to give you any extra feedback, any extra information. It's about the seating position. It's about what you're experiencing from behind the wheel. And what I can tell you right now, super comfy. Getting to the infotainment system to touch the screen, well within reach. If you're like Steven and you have a phobia about touching screens, you could use that direct drive control knob, not a problem. And all of the finishes, everywhere you touch in here, not only does it look good, but it also just makes sense with the layout. You got that power tilting, telescoping steering wheel. I love the digital readout. Right now we're in sport mode, as I always like to be. I have it showing me the power that's being used. And then of course, the way the vehicle charges. When you let off the throttle, you can adjust that regen braking. And it's very easy just using the paddles. Some cars, you gotta go in the infotainment system, and I absolutely despise that. It's a pain in the butt. All it needs to be is less regen or more regen. That's it. And if you keep hitting it, watch, listen. You heard that little ding? That means now I have one pedal operation. It's called I-pedal. That's what Hyundai calls their one pedal operation with the Genesis, and of course their Genesis vehicles, but also the Ioniq 5 and the Ioniq 6. And basically, that is the perfect setup for when you're in traffic. When I'm driving around town, it's a little weird, and I'll show you why here in a second. I'm gonna get off the highway. I got my corner camera with my turn signal. You let off throttle, and immediately it gets on the brakes. Now, the good news is it's not as intense as some brands are, but it's still there. If you're not ready for it, it's gonna surprise you. And it may make your passengers get a little motion sick, and they're gonna ask you, did you ever learn how to drive? No, it's the one pedal operation. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm driving a golf cart, but you're not gonna feel that way in this Genesis sedan. As you can see, my feet are not on the throttle or the brakes, and we're gonna go on throttle right now. You ready? On throttle, here we go, look at this. Woohoo! You're gonna merge with the best of them. And then what's nice is with the regen braking, you're gonna send more power to that battery, send more of the charge back to that battery pack that's in the belly of this thing. But just very smooth. And it just goes to show that, listen, if you thought that to get the highest of luxury, you had to go with one of the German Euro brands, I think Genesis is surprising everyone. And if you have not been in a Genesis vehicle, I highly recommend making that happen. I'm gonna shut off the I-pedal and just go with the max regen. So as soon as I let off, it starts to slow us down. But just everything well laid out. It makes sense, it's comfortable, it's big enough, but I think not too big. I think the G90 is a little on the extra large size, and if you need to supersize it, hey, that's your business. But for me, the G80 is definitely the better driving sedan over a G70. G70 is a little small, more sporty, but just a little small on the interior. And if we're comparing this to a BMW i4, from the look standpoint, the BMW makes me want to vomit, to be honest with you. I don't even know a better way to put it. It just makes me ill. And don't even get me started about Tesla. There's so many better ways to go. I'm not going Tesla. But this G80 Electrified checks off a lot of boxes. But why don't we go ahead, let's get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another fantastic day in super sunny Florida. Definitely want to thank the whole Genesis USA team getting us access to this emerald green G80 Electrified. Let me know what you think. Is it shocking, pun intended there, just how well this vehicle drives compared to its ICE cousin with the internal combustion engine? Let me know what you think, if this is the best new luxury sedan that you would buy, especially compared to the competition. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. course, we need to thank the man who shocks everybody with his camera skills, especially photography. Follow him on Instagram. It'll be worth it because he takes pictures that are just gonna make you cry with tears of joy. So thank you, Steven, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.